Hello, welcome to another Shadow 6 video. It's amazing the rate at which I put out these videos, maybe one every 3 or 4 years or something. I hope you can keep up. Don't forget to check the back catalogue. I'm rambling on it. This is a ramble warning on this. I may diverge significantly from the intended commentary. What this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a gameplay. It's not a gameplay commentary. It's a comment. The commentary is there. This is the commentary. This is live commentary. I'm doing live right now. Live. But it's not a game. This game. The game is there. It's it's a live game photography commentary. And what we're looking at here is a couple of pictures I took earlier this week over the course of 2 or 3 days in various numerous sessions when I had time, and that's compressed down. You're watching it back at 1,000 times normal speed. 1,000 times normal speed, if you can even understand that. And I'm just going to sort of talk over briefly the process involved in making these pictures. What you're looking at right now is me manipulating sort of skeleton mesh in Maya Lite, because it's the cheap version and I only need really to do this sort of stuff. I don't need the full power of Maya, just exporting and importing these skeletons using the Hattiwatti Cinematic tools from Battlefield 1. Just going back and forth, making changes to the mesh, importing it back into the game, seeing what it looks like, and around we go. The image I'm trying to capture here is sort of inspired by Man of Steel. There's a scene, in fact I think I Google it in a minute for a reference image, because I started off just doing it from my head and it wasn't entirely accurate. The original sort of concept got slightly warped. Here we go. Now I'm trying to find it. Basically that desert scene where he's flying around, he sort of arrives in front of the army as he's about to give himself up. Sorry, spoilers. And what I actually started off doing here was slightly different to that kind of classic hovering pose, if it is indeed a classic pose. But I stuck with it, and I actually used it for one image, and then I went back and changed things for a second image more closely aligned with that original sort of concept. But I watched a couple of Stoddy's Battlefield 1 sniping videos recently. And there's an idea I've had in the back of my head for quite a long time, but I was sort of inspired to do it, I guess, because the uniform on this guy with the cape just the cloak, whatever it is, just kind of reminded me of the Man of Steel, Superman kind of image, and with the silhouette up there, I thought it could look pretty cool. I've chosen this map for the lighting, really. The strong backlit sky, the strong sort of broadly lit sky is really good for silhouetting against. And the other benefit of it, the old server disconnect. Basically, that happens when somebody else joins. I'm just on a public server here. I didn't rent my own server because you got to pay for it, right? And there are dozens of empty servers, normally empty servers. But the downside of that is, someone comes in and joins. It seems to start the idle kick timer. So if you're on the server on your own, you don't seem to get kicked. You can stay there just without any input for quite a long time. But as soon as someone joins, I don't know how long the idle kick is, maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes. But basically, this process doesn't involve me moving the character very much normally, unless I make a concerted effort to do so. And what can happen if someone else joins the server, sort of activates this timer, and you'll get kicked after a while. Happens a couple of times. Happened more than a couple of times, but I only included a couple in this edit. I cut out some of the rejoining server bit. the good thing about this map is that you can only spawn British players. The German side, because it's Conquest Assault, they don't spawn straight away until the flags are active. So if, in the pre-game state, none of the flags are active, so the German side cannot spawn. They don't have their own sort of non-cappable base like the British side does. So you can spawn. Obviously, the good thing about that is there's no Germans coming to kill you constantly while you're trying to set up a scene. Occasionally, a friendly tank will wander along. I think that happens in a minute. And tries to blow me up. Tries to push me along up the road or something. Can't remember. There you go, another idle kick. But yeah, you're safe from being shot by enemy players on this map, which is good. So yeah, we're still on the original pose. I think I'm just setting that up now. More or less finished the skeleton. The longest, sort of most protracted part of this is getting the gun to sit right under his arm, and the hands and fingers, because there's so many, I guess, joints and bones involved in hands and fingers. Getting them to look natural and not sort of horribly disfigured, it's quite a challenge sometimes, quite time consuming certainly. So that's me setting up the first shot. I don't think I published that one in the end. I think I repositioned the camera. Again, I haven't included everything in here because it's setting up the camera and the lights and stuff isn't that interesting to watch. But well, I mean, you could argue that the entire video isn't that interesting to watch, but I tried to just include mostly sort of character manipulation stuff. But yeah, that's the first pose I kind of settled on. Just setting up some lights here. I didn't want him to be completely in the dark. Now I'm going for the more classic, or not classic, something closer to that pose that I googled from the film Man of Steel. So there's a certain amount of reworking to be done with the hands here, slightly more naturalistic, casual, I guess, or relaxed pose maybe. For the left hand, I don't think I did much with the right hand, because once I've got that set up, I want to leave it, and then just letting the legs hang a little bit more naturally. The thing was, when I tried it, my intention was to redo the shot I'd just taken with this new pose, but actually when I tried it in position, it looked a bit boring, a bit dull. The other one, just for this slightly more close-up shot, looked a bit more dynamic. So actually I didn't end up using this one. What I did end up using it for is reshooting a slightly more wide-angle shot further into the middle of the map, which you'll see in a minute. Because from the back, I think this pose looks a lot better. God, this goes on for a long time, doesn't it? If you're still watching, congratulations. Oh, I did reposition the gun here. See, because I've moved the gun so that, I've got to get it looking naturally with the weight. I was trying to think about the weight of the gun and how it would naturally sit in the arms, which bits of the... there's the tank playing with me. Which bits of the arm would be taking the weight of the gun, which, is it going to be balanced on the hand in a comfortable way, or is it going to look really awkward? I try and make it look as naturalistic as possible. I can't say I always succeed, but I do put quite a lot of thought and effort into that side of things. There's me just readjusting the hand, and of course I've readjusted the arm. I've got to readjust the hand onto the body of the gun, and then a few small tweaks to the fingers and stuff to make them actually contact with the frame. There we go, I think that's done now. So I'm just going to hoik him back up into the sky again. and I think I'll compare it at the moment. So there's the image I first took on the right hand side, and that's me trying to align the camera back to that original position. I'm quite happy with the background, and I wanted that background, but you see it doesn't look quite as dynamic, so I thought I saw that. I'll leave the original shot, and I came back over here to do the second shot that I took, the wide angle from the back, which I think looks a lot better. What I'm doing here is just trying to get the cape to flap in a natural way, and freezing the game time in order to do that, where I think it looks nice blowing in the wind, as it were. And I forgot to, having positioned the camera, I forgot to put the light up, so I had to go and put the light up and then try and find that camera position again. Anyway, that's the final shot. Which I was quite happy with. Just added a bit of camera blur there, that's all really. And then the second shot was the original, the first pose that I did, just because it looks a bit more interesting, I guess. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and dare I say, I'll see you in the next one.